All right, since it's going viral, Shannon Sharpe getting canceled due to allegations that he raped. Basically, he forced himself in her from behind. Okay.
I do care about this.
Supporters and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown.
We have a new public response, a new disturbing piece of audio, and new graphic text messages. The legal battle between NFL Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe and his sexual assault accuser definitely has intensified. As we go through these new developments, who's telling the truth about what really happened?
Wait, does this guy give good analysis, or does his analysis suck? Do we stand this guy for sports commentary?
Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. A new legal war has begun, and this time it's between NFL.
Wait, Dennis? Come on. At least a little bit, right? At least a little bit.
NFL Hall of Famer, podcaster, commentator Shannon Sharpe, and the woman who's accusing him of sexually assaulting and raping her as recently as January of this year. Now, we covered this earlier in the week, but now, not only has Shannon Sharpe fired back in a major way, releasing a public message, a response, apparently revealing the identity of this Jane Doe, but he's also published never-before-seen apparent text messages between the two. Quite a response, to say the least.
To say the least.
You think the story ends there? No. She fires back by releasing an apparent audio tape between her and Shannon Sharpe. Damn. This has crossed to a whole different kind of level, and I want to get into what we're seeing right now. We're going to break it down, but first, let's take a step back. Let's learn a little bit more.
He's a legal analyst. I like him. Never heard him talk sports before, though. But he's based on constitutional... Wait, what? You're trolling, right?
More about the backstory, what's happening here. So, we have 56-year-old Shannon Sharpe, who has been sued by an unidentified woman. She's going by the pseudonym Jane Doe, and she is suing him for $50 million in Nevada court. She claims that after meeting Shannon Sharpe at the gym back in 2023 and beginning a consensual relationship with him, who, by the way, she claims is 30 years older than her, it escalated into him allegedly insisting they record their sexual activity, sometimes without her knowledge, him sharing those videos with others, him allegedly telling her that he would do...
This guy is... Hey, listen, I don't know what he did, but I'm supporting him. And he's getting sued by the same person? How does Jane Doe have so much free time? What the fuck?
Him allegedly, she claims, is 30 years older than her.
How old is he? Is she just trying to say she's like young, or is he like 42 or something and she's like 12? Yeah, Jane Doe is getting too powerful.
It escalated into him allegedly insisting they record their sexual activity, sometimes
she's
without
21,
her
he's
knowledge,
46. Okay.
him sharing those videos with others, him allegedly telling her that he would do things to her that, quote, would make no other man want her, that he...
This is the Lakers in 5 guy. You know him? Bro, I just tweeted out Lakers in 5 because somebody said it and it would be funny. I don't know what the fuck that means. My guess is NBA is like series, right? So when you say Lakers in 5, it means they're going to 5-0 a series because somebody did something stupid? I have no idea.
Allegedly manipulated her, controlled her, threatened her, intimidated her, was able to gain access to her apartment complex without her permission. For example, this is from the lawsuit. It reads, "The verbal abuse never stopped. He would berate and degrade plaintiff, just as he had from the beginning. One time specifically, he was yelling at her while there was a firearm visible in his room. Terrified for her safety, plaintiff tried sharing her location with friends from her iPhone just in case. But Sharpe saw her doing this."
Wait, okay, hold on. Why wouldn't you leave the apartment? Like, oh shit, I think my life's in danger here. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna turn on my Snap map. He would degrade plaintiff just as he had from the beginning. One time still, he was yelling at her while there was a firearm visible in the room. Terrified of her safety, plaintiff returned her location with friends from her iPhone just in case, but Sharpe saw her doing this. The moment he realized what she was doing, he grabbed her by the neck and told her, "You ever do that again? I will blankin' kill you."
The moment he realized what she was doing, he grabbed her by the neck and told her, "If you ever do that again, I will bleeping kill you." And then, this finally all allegedly culminated with...
Oh shit, I have firearms visible in my room, and I just made death threats. This is my spirit animal. Just kidding. Those death threats were mean, by the way. And they weren't even real death threats. Okay. Don't clip me.
Claiming that in a kill you. And then, this finally all allegedly culminated with Jane Doe claiming that in October of 2024, Sharpe violently sexually assaulted and raped her in Las Vegas, all while she was allegedly sobbing. And she claims he did this again recently in January of 2025, her allegedly begging him to stop as this was purportedly going on.
Damn, why is this in civil court? Did she file charges or anything or call the police? Damn. All right. We got some intense shit going on here.
So she has sued him for assault, sexual battery.
Okay, this guy is no longer my spirit animal, all right? I no longer stand him. Yet. Well, hold on. We're on the fence now, okay? We don't know. We don't know. We're on the fence, okay? I don't know if what she's saying is true, okay? It could be a fucking lie.
Battery, sexual battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress. She's being represented by Texas attorney Tony Busby, who we know famously represented a Jane Doe in a now defunct sexual assault lawsuit against Jay-Z. He represents several accusers in actions against Sean Diddy Combs as well. But as I mentioned, Shannon Sharpe has responded. This is what we want to get into. And let me tell you, did he respond? A lot of money at stake in this case, right? And talking money, actually, how about getting money back? Let me tell you about Upside. Upside is fantastic.
Okay.
It is a free app that gets you cash back when you buy daily essentials. I pump my gas, I can use Upside. I go out to lunch at Chipotle, I can use Upside. Maybe I get something at 7-Eleven, I can use Upside.
That's
Why not get
crazy.
cash back when I do all these things, right?
Damn.
And yes, this is actual real cash back. It's money
Real
that appears
cash?
in the Upside app that you transfer right into your bank account. So once you have the free Upside app, you claim an offer for whatever you're buying on Upside. You pay as usual using a debit or credit card. You follow the steps on the app, you get paid. To find out how much you could earn, click the link in the description to download Upside or scan the QR code on screen. But make sure to use our promo code SIDEBAR because you get an extra 25 cents back on every gallon.
Let's go. 25 cents back.
First, we have this statement from him on his Instagram where he says that he's going to be open, transparent, defend himself because this isn't right. And he says that this whole thing is being orchestrated by Tony Busby.
Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out.
Wait, did the lawyer really publish the video? Can somebody link me the complaint real quick? I'm just curious what she's suing for. Did you see this? Elon Musk heard scream. We're past politics, okay? We're on a rape review right now.
I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media.
And he goes on to say that the encounter in question took place during the day at the invitation of Jane Doe, says that this was all a deliberate setup by her. He also, by the way, revealed her first name and apparently her name that she purportedly uses on OnlyFans. We're not going to reveal those names here. We're not going to do that. But he does go on to say, quote, "My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about, and I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do." And we also got a statement from his attorney, Lonnie J. Davis, and that reads, "Mr. Sharpe categorically denies all allegations of coercion or misconduct, especially the gross lie of rape, and will not submit to what he sees as an egregious attempt at blackmail. He stands firmly by the truth and is prepared to fight these false claims vigorously in court." And Davis has also commented about that apparent tape that was seemingly referenced by Sharpe because he accuses Jane Doe of providing a, quote, secretly recorded and heavily edited video to them that purports to be a non-consensual encounter of some kind. But Davis claimed that Jane Doe, quote, has refused to provide a copy of the full unedited version of the recording to Mr. Sharpe's legal team.
They talk to us. How this dating thing? Because it's Mo is different now than when you and I.
It's different, baby. I'm grateful I'm not 56 and trying.
But you tried to say what you tried to say. Mo,
I'm looking right at you.
I know you looking at me.
I ain't backing down. You better take your old ass and get somebody to love you.
Damn, Mo.
Now I'm looking right at y'all. Let me tell y'all what Shannon needs.
Let me see my life.
Let me tell you what my baby needs. He need him an old fat gal who can bake good cakes, make some smothered turkey wings, who gonna rub his feet at the nighttime, okay, and gonna have a sip of his cognac to make him feel better about himself when he come home at night. That's what Shannon needs. You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 30 36-year-old girl.
I know.
This is your auntie talking to you. Take your ass and get you an old bitch out there that can love you old. You trying to hang out with these young bitches and you can't do it, Shannon. You just can't.
Why don't I have a sassy black woman like this in my life? Who is this?
Do it. When they want you to go for the 4th round, you looking at her like, bitch, listen, you want some money to go to Starbucks?
Yeah,
because I can't go no further. But if you get your older girl, when you get to that 4th round, she's gonna say, hold on. Let me go get you some eggs and cheese and some toast with apple butter, because that's gonna get your energy back up. I'm talking right to you. Shit. So he thought I was gonna be scared. Yes, I'm talking. And I know an old gal, she'll be good to you.
Based. He did an erection enhancer sponsorship when the IG Live sex tape incident happened. Jesus. Okay, let me check this real quick. I'm just curious. In the 8th Judicial District Court of the state of Nevada, in and for the county of Clark. Does this mean it was filed as in federal court for Nevada, or does anybody know? If it says district court, I don't know if district court always implies. Okay, what do we got? Introduction. A woman can say yes to consensual sexual relations with a man 99 times, but when she says no even once, that no means no. Defendant Shannon Sharpe, a man who is accustomed to getting what he wants, completely fails to understand this basic concept. Damn, okay. After many months of manipulating and controlling plaintiff, a woman more than 30 years younger than he, and repeatedly threatening to brutally choke and violently slap her, Sharpe refused to accept the answer no and raped plaintiff, despite her sobbing and repeated screams of no. Damn. When was this filed? 4/20. Blaze it! Blaze it up! This was filed 5 days ago. Okay. 4 days ago. Whew. Usually a federal court has northern, etc., district of in the title, not state of. Okay. So they filed this one. This is a state court. Okay. Defendant Shannon Sharpe is a 56-year-old former NFL superstar. Wait, let me make sure this is going back and forth. And then we'll read it. Fuck it. Why not, bro? Wait. Did I make all the... Hello? Oh, wait. No. Oh, I'm actually fucking retarded. Unironically, I talked to Big Ack. He's live and covering this. And this same lawyer is suing him too. Oh, shit. No, I don't want to get on this dude's fucking radar. Fuck. I like being sued by the penny lawyers, okay? It's all fun and games until the big boys get involved. Fuck that. Wait, there's no way 2 arms... This doesn't make sense. Wait, fuck me. I'm being retarded. Hold on. Boom, 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 and then doom, doom, and then boom, boom. Just like that. Wait. There we go. Nah, wait. I like the better before. Hold on. Oh, 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 oh. And then... Hold on. Touch this. All right. Let's fucking go. Let's go. Defendant Shannon Sharpe is a 56-year-old former NFL superstar. 3443. Conspiracy confirmed. What is this? Video unavailable. Way to go, dipshit. He claims to be one of the most successful sports media personalities in the country. Plaintiff is a young woman in her early 20s. In 2020, that means 24. Just kidding. In 2023, Plaintiff was working out at a gym in Los Angeles, California, when Sharpe approached her for the first time. It was an equinox. Previously, Doe had noticed Sharpe watching her during her workouts. At this time, Doe was just 19 years old, freshly 19. At the time, she did not know who he was, only that he was another older man ogling her at the gym. Doe could tell Sharpe was much older than her. She found him physically intimidating. Eventually, he introduced himself. At his determined insistence, she gave him her number. Over the next couple of weeks, Sharpe incessantly pursued Plaintiff. He constantly approached her at the gym and attempted to contact her frequently with phone calls and text messages asking to meet up, unwilling to take no for an answer. Eventually, Plaintiff gave in and agreed to meet with Sharpe outside of the gym. However, before doing so, Sharpe demanded that Doe sign a non-disclosure agreement or NDA. This is based, okay? Fuck. I'm working on this, okay? Don't worry. Something Plaintiff found a bit concerning. She wondered why Sharpe was so insistent on her signing an NDA. She refused. Despite his repeated efforts to get her to sign, she refused time and again. Eventually, he dropped the issue and invited her to his house. What followed was the beginning of a rocky, consensual relationship that lasted nearly 2 years. The relationship was very unequal. Sharpe was more than 30 years older, is considerably wealthier, is physically much larger, and exponentially stronger. Sharpe is famous and has power. Plaintiff and Sharpe saw each other on his terms and on his schedule as often as 4 times a week. Over time, Plaintiff began to see Sharpe's true nature. She found him to be dishonest about his whereabouts. He would lie about seeing other women, while insisting to her that she and he were exclusive. He often manipulated her, at times being sweet and loving to get what he wanted, and at other times, blah, blah, blah. I don't need to do something. Plaintiff left Nevada to temporarily escape defendant Shannon Sharpe. She now seeks justice through this action and other means. Plaintiff seeks compensatory and punitive damages in this matter in excess of $50 million. Whew. My God. Parties. Plaintiff Jane Doe, defendant Shannon Sharpe. No, we don't care. Wait, right? Yeah, they got it. This will come back. Okay. Okay, we got this jurisdiction. Relief requested is in the minimum jurisdictional limits of this court pursuant to Nevada law. Venue proper is Clark County, Nevada. Factual allegations. Defendant Shannon Sharpe. My base is fine. We don't care. Let's see. There's another lawsuit. As an example, he is currently a defendant in a lawsuit before the Supreme Court of New York, facing claims from a woman of intentional infliction of emotional distress, among other allegations. Many of the factual allegations in the New York case are eerily similar to his actions toward plaintiff here. According to the New York lawsuit, Sharpe forcibly subdued the plaintiff in that case. Okay. Is he being sued by the same lawyer in New York? I know that woman, it's all fake. Wait, is that guy just saying retarded shit, or is that case supposed to be cringe? That's why he skipped the manipulation. Oh, good one. Dipshit. Okay. Okay, wait. live stream himself on accident having sex with a woman. Oh no. To live stream himself, he would have to deliberately swipe right on Instagram to activate the live feed. Sharpe claims it was accidental. However, discreetly recording sex without his partner's knowledge is something he is known to do. He did so with the plaintiff herein. Uh-oh. Plaintiff discovered that Sharpe had been secretly recording their sexual encounters without her consent. When she confronted him, he summarily dismissed her concerns, claiming the videos were for his own personal use. That, too, was a lie. Oh my God. They had the jerk party with the recorded videos. Upon information and belief, Sharpe on multiple occasions shared the recordings with his friends and associates. At one point, he even forced plaintiff to have sex with him while FaceTiming one of his childhood friends named Bucket. Whenever plaintiff would get up the courage to object to Sharpe's outrageous conduct, which was not often, he would aggressively and angrily put her back in her place. Shannon Sharpe isn't just a sports icon, he's something far worse. He is a flawed, narcissistic individual who spent years using his fame, power, and influence to manipulate, control, subjugate, and violate women. With this suit, plaintiff intends to put an end to this egregious conduct. She found Sharpe standing inches behind her. Oh my God. Plaintiff at the time had just turned 20 years old, freshly 20. You got a payment from the Mossad and Kick Chat. Wait, what? Wait, was there a sub or something that I missed? Wait. $5 gifted. Well, thank you. Wait, I feel like this didn't show up for me. Oh, 25 gifted subs. Thank you, Thiologist. During their first conversation, Sharpe proposed a challenge, a competition to see who could lean out faster. The prize, if plaintiff won, he would buy her fake tits. Plaintiff was stunned. The implication that she needed or wanted such a thing was wildly inappropriate. Hearing it from a stranger more than 30 years her senior made it even more disturbing. Damn. Revealed from the start the violent, aggressive, controlling nature of Shannon Sharpe. Oh no. When plaintiff arrived, the first night plaintiff went to Sharpe's house, the experience was unlike anything she has dealt with before. Disturbing, unsettling, and, given his subsequent conduct, very illuminating. When plaintiff arrived at his house, Sharpe opened the door to his Beverly Glen mansion without a word. No greeting, no acknowledgement, no small talk. Without so much as looking at plaintiff, he simply turned away from her after opening the door and walked upstairs. Plaintiff hesitated, but followed, as she did not know what else to do or where else to go. Oh no, the classic walk away bait. It's like a dog. You start running away and they have to follow you. Is a possible reason why the accusers aren't going to the police is because criminal court has a higher burden of proof? Yeah, you can sue for whatever the fuck you want. Who knows how real or true any of this is, but you can always sue for whatever you want. This sounds like blatant dumbassery. Why go back? Well, this is a complaint. This is the case filed by the woman suing. So you're going to talk up your side as much as you can in this. Just from reading this, my guess is this is all bullshit. This sounds like ridiculous. But this is their complaint. They want to sound as good as possible in it. So yeah, he used his aura to literally force her to follow him upstairs. When they reached the bedroom, Sharpe pointed to the bed before disappearing into the bathroom and shutting the door behind him. He still had not said a word. Plaintiff sat on the bed, waiting, unsure of what to expect or if she should leave. Plaintiff sat on the bed, waiting. Roughly 5 minutes later, he finally emerged, but still, he said nothing. Instead, he turned off all the lights and laid down on his bed. Plaintiff, uncomfortable and unsure of what to do, lay down as well. What? Jesus. I knew from the first time I saw you that I was going to fuck you. Doe and Sharpe then engaged in oral sex. As they did so, Doe at some point realized Sharpe was using his phone. He was apparently recording her. I thought he turned off all the lights. Ooh, stealth, the night recording. Maybe he's got NVG lenses. Plaintiff could see that he was trying to be discreet, but it was obvious what he was doing. She said nothing, scared to confront him for what he might do. Or say, when it ended, he rolled over and went to sleep. At some point during the night, Sharpe woke up, grabbed Plaintiff by her vagina, and began having sex with her. The next morning, he woke up at 4 a.m. to shoot a media segment for sports television. He woke Plaintiff as well and told her she needed to leave, but he informed her that she had to be back by 9 p.m. exactly. Sit the fuck down or I'm gonna kill you. Damn. Raped her despite her sobbing in agony. Turn around and look at me. Sharpe grabbed her head, forcing her to look at him as she sobbed. He said at that point, look at this. Look at my arm. I've got chills. That's how good this is. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. We're really... First claim for relief. Assault, sexual assault, battery, and sexual battery. Is there really a civil cause of action for this type of stuff? Can you just put whatever? Intentional infliction of emotional distress. Aware of this one. And a demand for jury trial. Oh, they didn't even load them up. Just those two. Okay. God damn. All right, well.
And then there's this. Sharpe and his legal team released all of these apparent text messages between him and this Jane Doe, reportedly 44 pages worth of communications. For example, as reported by TMZ, there's one apparent message from October 2023 where Jane Doe seemingly messages Sharpe, I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you're bleeping me.
Jesus.
Now, the New York Post reporting on other messages allegedly from Jane Doe, like tie me up and do bad things to me. I know you missed this big juicy bleep, 25K for each cheek. Tie me up like this and bleep me, with Sharpe replying, if I knew how to, I would. She then allegedly wrote back, it's okay, I have handcuffs, we can stick to those for now. Jane Doe also allegedly writing, I want like some hardcore BDSM action though, and feeling kind of freaky lately. And then you have this apparent message from March 14th, 2024. I want to be abused, daddy. And then another message from last year where she apparently wrote him, I've always wanted a black baby. Now, Lonnie Davis commented that, quote, the evidence paints a clear picture. This was a consensual adult relationship that included role-playing, sexual language, and fantasy scenarios. So what happens then? Again, this is not the end of the story. Jane Doe ends up releasing an audio tape seemingly between her and Sharpe. And I'm going to explain part of what is heard on this tape. We can't play it for legal reasons, but here is part of the exchange, and this part is key. Again, this is from the audio tape. Jane Doe says, don't manipulate me. Sharpe replies, if you say that word one more time, I'm going to choke the bleep out of you next time I see you. Jane Doe pauses, takes a minute, and says, well, I don't want to be choked. And Sharpe replies, yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in the matter. Now, to be clear, this tape may only be a portion of the entire conversation and audio, but this appears to be a portion nonetheless. Jane Doe's attorney, again, Tony Busby, described this audio as, quote, the contents of this clip are certainly not sexual. They are not playful. They are instead disturbing, aggressive, and dangerous. This audio paints a very clear picture of how Sharpe treated Jane Doe, leading her to escape from him by leaving Nevada and blocking all contact with him. And he added that they released this audio in response to Sharpe's lawyer, Lonnie Davis, trying to discredit Jane Doe by releasing all of these alleged texts, which, by the way, Busby says are basically irrelevant because they're all before the alleged assault. Okay, so now I want to bring on Mauricio Padilla, litigator, criminal defense attorney, to talk more about this. Mauricio, thanks so much for taking the time. Let's just start with the lawsuit and the allegations, suing for $50 million. Very graphic details about these multiple alleged sexual assaults and rapes. Your take just on the initial lawsuit and allegations.
I mean, my take on the initial lawsuit and allegations and the publicity that's come right after it. I mean, there's rules of ethics to prohibit people from trying their case in the media. And I think from the onset, both sides are engaging in releasing what could be evidence. And the rules of ethics from state to state vary, but they pretty much usually are concentrated on not releasing any information that could possibly affect a jury. And they're out there releasing.
I'm curious what those exact rules are. Destiny, what's the point of dropping all this shit in the public from the accuser side? Why do they care if Shannon looks like a rapist as long as they get paid out by the judge? Because you think your case doesn't have any legs and you're just trying to get them to settle or something? I don't know what the pre-trial communication looked like, though. Like if these two people were in contact with each other, like counsel for both sides was in contact with each other. But
releasing pages and pages of text messages. They're out there releasing audio. It looks to me like both sides are engaged in trying to litigate this in the media before litigating it in a court of law.
But isn't that the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively effect, right? Isn't that what we're seeing now? It's the idea of let's battle this out on the court of public opinion, particularly, by the way, when you're dealing with such a public figure like Shannon Sharpe. The idea of if I'm fighting this in a court of law, but I'm also fighting this in the court of public opinion, if I can put enough out there to try to reverse the narrative, maybe not only I'll still retain my fan base, my career, but also it puts pressure on Jane Doe maybe to stop the lawsuit, or maybe not, because she fired back too.
No, I'm not saying that they shouldn't do it, because unfortunately we live in a time where if
here's the leaked audio.
Just gonna you're just gonna get mad at, and you're just gonna hang up on me. So I feel like
I'm not gonna hang up on you. Here's what it is.
What does that even mean?
Nothing, Gabby. You want to be a dick to me now, so.
I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm going to choke the out of you when I see you.
Nice.
Thank you.
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do.
You're just gonna
Remember, these are always anytime you hear a one-sided audio recording. Now, it doesn't mean that there's not something bad happening. It could be that the person is legitimately crazy, but one-sided audio recordings are always setups, because one side knows they're being recorded, the other side doesn't know they're being recorded. It's very easy to say wind somebody up while you're recording on your side, and then edit out what you want to hear or whatever. Not to say that that's what's happened here. Maybe this person is just legitimately unhinged, but you can tell that, right? You can tell by the quality of the voice that she's just recording the conversation on her side and then talking it through the phone. So who knows what the full conversation was.
if you don't do that on behalf of your client, are you doing them a disservice? I'm just mentioning the fact, saying that they shouldn't do it, because unfortunately we live in a time where if you don't do that on behalf of your client, are you doing them a disservice? I'm just mentioning the fact that none of this is really allowed pursuant to the rules of ethics, but I understand why they're doing it, because nowadays pretty much the court of public opinion is dictating what happens in court in and of itself.
It's not just about the court of public opinion, though. From a celebrity point of view, the challenging thing about these lawsuits is that the damages that you could face in your career, oftentimes, depending on the level of the person, can outstrip any of even the maximum potential awards from any given lawsuit, right? So it might be the case that she could take a case like this to trial and win, and maybe it's the jury rakes him over the coals and it's real bad, and it's like a $1 million payout or something by the end. It's a real big, she really got him. But that might pale in comparison to, personally, maybe he loses out on like a $50 million contract, or he suffered, 8 figures worth of damage in terms of financial damages. So this is, speaking of personal experience, like this is why when you're a celebrity, the rules change a bit in terms of like, well, do you want to respond publicly or do you want to release stuff? Because it's not just about beating the case. It's about maintaining credibility in the eyes of the public. Otherwise, even if you win the case, like let's say you release nothing, you keep your lips, sealed the entire time, and then you come out, you win the case, all of the financial damage you might have suffered in the interim didn't make it worth it. You still lost out in the end,
So it's just part of litigating cases nowadays.
Are you concerned by the content, the value of those text message conversations? Does it complicate this case? Let me rephrase. Putting aside, assuming these really are the real conversations and the real messages of Jane Doe, you could say, she's talking about BDSM, tying up, dog collars.
Would he countersue then for damages? So my understanding is, and this is what makes it challenging, okay? You can't sue people for what they put in a lawsuit. You're not allowed to do that. So if somebody were to come out and just make an accusation about you, then, and you thought it was defamatory, whatever, you could sue them. But if people are making these accusations by putting it in a complaint, you can't sue somebody for what they put in a complaint. I don't think you're allowed to do that. So it's a way to, I think, defame somebody or slander somebody without being held accountable necessarily for it. Yeah.
Choking, and then she accuses him of sexual assault and being violent with her. Let me actually read you something from the lawsuit. Okay, so this is from the lawsuit. It says, a woman can say yes to consensual sexual relations with a man 99 times, but when she says no, even once, that no means no. Defendant Shannon Sharpe, a man who is accustomed to getting what he wants, completely fails to understand this basic concept. After many months of manipulating and controlling plaintiff, a woman more than 30 years younger than he, and repeatedly threatening to brutally choke and violently slap her, Sharpe refused to accept the answer no and raped plaintiff despite her sobbing and repeated screams of no. So you look at those messages, are they...
She, through her lawyer, released that audio, he can counterclaim her. It depends on, like, if the audio, because you could file exhibits attached to lawsuits, in which case... It's in the lawsuit. It's going to be part of the public record anyway, unless somebody files to seal it or something, right?
They irrelevant?
If you establish a pattern of, S&M, a pattern of voluntarily submitting yourself to someone, to accepting, violence, to accepting as part of the norm of your sex life, then obviously that's something that can be used because he's going to say, yeah, it was consensual. So when a jury's trying to analyze whether or not these acts of violence were consensual or not, they can obviously look to the history of the relationship and whether or not she's going to admit it. So now you put her on the stand and you're like, so you allowed him to choke you. You allowed him to hit you previously. And that was something that you guys engaged in, voluntary sexual behavior, and you found it pleasurable. And you did it for the X amount of months. But then on this particular day, you told him no. So it's something that it's fruitful to bring up a trial. I think they would be doing them a disservice if they didn't explore that more. And yeah, ultimately, what Mr. Busby's saying is true. A woman can say yes 99 times and say no that 100th time, but the historical behavior of accepting violence as the norm in your bedroom and in your sex life is something that a jury can look at to determine whether or not she did in fact say no, because he's going to say that she said yes. He's not going to admit that she said no, that he raped her.
No, I hear you. And I knew that he was going to get on the defensive. If you believe his side, right, that he's completely innocent, you get hit with this lawsuit, right? You want to defend yourself immediately. He goes out, he puts out this message on Instagram. Do you think he was advised by his lawyer to do so? Let's start there. And B, purportedly outing her, naming her name. Just the first name, and also what her apparent handle is or name on OnlyFans. Is that appropriate? That right? Again, he's defending himself, but name on OnlyFans. First name, and also what her apparent handle is or name on OnlyFans. Is that appropriate? That right? Again, he's defending himself, but she filed this anonymously.
Right. Well, whether or not his attorney advised him to do it, if he took those steps without discussing it with his attorney should be very upset at him doing something of that nature. I don't think that an attorney can counsel their client to disclose the identity of a victim in a sex case. So I don't think that his attorney would ever admit to taking those steps simply because there's laws to protect victims in sex crimes. but I understand why it's beneficial to his defense. I'm putting it out there. I'm saying who you are. I'm saying that you're an OnlyFans person. I'm saying that we were engaged in this voluntary sexual behavior where you possibly accepted money to do sexual things on camera or do sexual things for me. So it definitely benefits his defense in letting people know, listen, this is not the person that Busby's saying that it is. This is the person that I'm telling you who she is. So I think it's beneficial.
And to reverse it, I said this when I covered it earlier in the week. This lawsuit being filed by Tony Busby, he's got crosshairs on him right now. He filed a lawsuit against Jay-Z by a Jane Doe who claims that she was sexually assaulted by Jay-Z when she was 13 years old back in 2000. That lawsuit against him was dropped. The NBC did a report questioning the credibility of some of her claims. His attorneys came forward and said, no, we have proof that the people you say were there weren't there. And that lawsuit was dropped. He's now being sued. That Jane Doe is being sued. You would think, okay, if this happened, I'm going to maybe take a little step back here. But to go so public and forward with allegations against a high-profile figure like Shannon Sharpe, he must...
Do you think that her not going to the police since she claims that he raped her back in January is not helping her case? I don't think it helps, but she's just trying to get a settlement, basically, right? These types of like super public things are you're just trying to get the other person to settle. You want a payday, basically. The guy's obviously loaded. She feels like she can cause enough the goal is like, can you ramp up the pressure enough and cause enough financial harm to the person to where it doesn't make sense for them to fight the court case? So I'm guessing my guess is they tried to haggle beforehand. People are saying that they were asking for 10 million beforehand, and I guess he felt like that was too much, and so now she's going public, and the dream is that at some point he's like, fuck it, this isn't worth it anymore for the reputational harm. I'll pay you off, basically.
Not only believe the account...
Oh, he offered 10 million, okay.
...of Jane Sharpe, he must not only believe the account of Jane Doe, he must believe he's got the goods to back it up.
Definitely. And listen, when you're an attorney, you have wiggle room in the sense that if you have a client that's telling you what their version, you have to act reasonably, and you can't just believe someone that you may have knowledge that she suffers from psychiatric conditions, but you have a lot of leeway. Like, you have a client that's telling you, you're allowed to believe your client and you're allowed to litigate on their behalf. And obviously there's rules in place for a lawyer not to pipe or a complete myth and sue people without a basis. But, when you do have a client that's telling you what occurred, I think he has a lot of leeway in the way that he acts, simply because he has a client that's telling him, and he's allowed to believe that client. Now, there's limits, and apparently, regarding the Jay-Z, confronted with evidence that he couldn't refute regarding the lack of liability, then he dropped the lawsuit. If he's defending his own lawsuit, that's separate from this one. So I don't see why a guy like Busby would change his MO, so to speak. And
this guy, my guess too, because of the way these lawsuits are working, this guy probably gets paid on some kind of contingency as well. So whatever the Jane Doe can get as part of the settlement, he gets probably a fat cut of that. So I think that's why these people are usually so aggressive and go around seeing who they can sue for what.
And retreat, because at the end of the day, he's making money. He's trying to make money, and he's got insurance to defend him of lawsuits. So I don't see why he would change.
Now I want to move on to the audio tape. This audio tape that was apparently released by Jane Doe's side. Now, again, this might only be a portion of the conversation, but it is a portion of this conversation, and it's important. You'll have Tony Busby saying, this is nothing fun about this. There's nothing sexual about this. This is disturbing. This is him threatening to choke her and saying she's not going to have a choice. Whereas I imagine you're going to hear Shannon Sharpe say, there's more to context to the conversation. Look at what our relationship was like. But this was another move in this chess game, releasing this audio tape. What's your take on it?
Well, listen, an audio tape like that is damning, just because if you're a man and you're talking like that to a woman, even if your defense is, you have to look at the totality of the circumstances. You have to look at the relationship that we had where she was voluntarily submissive to me. And then I was, in a position where we would obtain sexual pleasure from me being a dominant figure. That has to be his defense. But a lot of people would reject that right off the bat. Like, that's something that a lot of people are not going to stomach, are not going to understand. And he definitely has his work cut out in trying to explain to the viewing public why that type of language to a woman is appropriate. It has to be, his defense has to be that you're only looking at a small piece, but if you look at the entire relationship, that's how we would do it, and that's because she was submissive to me. People are going to reject that.
Now, I will tell you this. As this came out, I said to myself, how did they release those messages so quickly? They must have had it ready, right? You can't just have those messages. And I said to myself, did they know this was coming? Well, what do I come to find out? According to NBC, Lonnie Davis, again representing Shannon Sharpe, has confirmed that Sharpe apparently made a financial offer to this Jane Doe to try to settle this case before she filed it. In fact, while it seems he first said that it was tens of millions of dollars, then clarified and said it was at least $10 million. So the idea that if that's true, they tried to get to settle it, and then she files, and now they have their messages ready, what does that tell you?
That means that there were pretrial negotiations. They didn't offer enough. The other side feels like they can get more if they go, or they can pressure them for more if they go public first, and that's the plan.
Listen, I think that's part of what Busby has been doing historically. Like they approach you and they tell you, listen, we have this. Let me know if you want to resolve this previously. I think if anybody looks at like the P. Diddy didn't do it, right? And then they filed against him and he settled the case in a day. We see the value of resolving cases. So I think it's on par with how Busby has been litigating his prior cases to give them an opportunity. When you look at it, settlement negotiations are usually privileged. If someone hears that he offered $10 million, what is a normal person going to think? He's guilty of something. Because people don't just, even if you're rich, don't go out there throwing around tens million or millions of dollars to resolve cases when they're innocent. People are gonna associate that offer of settlement, which they probably shouldn't, but they will. They're gonna associate that offer of settlement with guilt.
At the time,
pre-trials. I don't know if a jury's allowed to consider that. This is what they offered pre-trial. That this is what they like. If both sides have counsel and they're engaged in these negotiations, I'm not sure if that's something you're allowed to consider. I don't think so, but would you ever settle your case? Fuck no. Absolutely not.
In this recording, I haven't seen Shannon Sharpe file a countersuit of any kind, but talk to me if this works. Could he countersue for defamation, or is there a litigation privilege, right? You're allowed to make claims against somebody. You're shielded away from every time anybody sues anybody, the other side will say it's not true. You can't just turn around and say it's defamation, right? I mean, could he sue for defamation?
Right. Well,
the two huge problems here is that, well, three huge problems. One is usually you just don't have a great case. I don't think in general judges like to see you suing somebody for suing you, unless it's like really bad faith, like bad faith enough for the other judge or the other attorney to get sanctioned. So, one, I think that's probably not the best idea. Two, it can end up making you look a lot less sympathetic towards a potential future jury or publicly, like, oh, the woman that's accusing him of sexual assault or rape is now he's suing her too. 1, 2, 3, and there was a third one. Oh, and third, he might just not have a good cause of action. So it might be a bad countersuit. And so now you're spending even more money filing a countersuit that you don't even have a great chance of winning, and then plus the other two negatives is just like not, A jury can't consider settlements. They just said it's confidential. Well, settlements between counsel. So careful, because if you say crazy shit before you've hired a lawyer or before any of those types of things have gone on, then those statements could theoretically, maybe, potentially, in other instances be considered. Just be aware of that.
Well, you're right. There is a litigation privilege regarding defamation actions. So I always tell people this when people ask me, can they sue? People can sue all the time. Whether or not it's going to survive a motion to dismiss, honestly, I've seen it in my career over 22 years. People sue for things that are ultimately going to get dismissed, and it doesn't affect their willingness to do it, their desire to do it. But you're right. There is a litigation privilege because I guess the mindset, the universal mindset is that you don't want to be...
Oh, then there's 4 is that she probably doesn't have any money, so it's not even worth it. Even if he wins, it's not like she's going to get paid a bunch, or he's going to get paid out or anything.
There is a litigation privilege because I guess the mindset, the universal mindset is that you don't want to be gagging people in a court of law. You want people to have the freedom to express themselves openly without the threat of litigation while they're in litigation. And that's the entire... So to answer your question, it seems like you're right. A litigation privilege does apply, but nowadays people get sued for all kind of things.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a countersuit because, again, his perspective is this is blackmail. These are false allegations. And by the way, what's the timing of it? And by the way, when we talk about Shannon Sharpe, he's a powerhouse in the podcast space. Hosts Club Shay Shay, Nightcap, tons of followers. According to Front Office Sports, he's expected right now to sign a new contract worth more than $100 million. Do you think that comes into play at all?
The problem with people that have those types of contracts is it doesn't have to mean that you're guilty or not guilty. Just the news in and of itself is going to affect your ability to get followers, to do your job, and to execute contracts. Now, if he loses $100 million contract because of this, whether there's a litigation privilege or not, you can expect a lawsuit. Even if the standard for a motion to dismiss is lower than the standard for a motion for summary judgment, you could file a lawsuit. You could survive motion to dismiss, and routinely judges don't like to decide cases on summary judgment, and they often say that almost anything is an issue of fact for the jury because they know they're not going to get appealed when they make that type of ruling, and they like to kick it to a jury even if it is the type of case that shouldn't survive motion for summary judgment. So what I'm saying is that
So a motion to dismiss means that in the complaint itself, if you take all of the complaint to be 100% true, the complaint doesn't actually allege something that would qualify as something that would come under the causes of action that are listed at the bottom of a document, or at the bottom of a complaint. So let's say that you sue somebody for intentional emotional distress. And let's say I'm making some of this up, but let's say there are two elements to it. You have to be really mean to somebody and you have to say it to them verbally, okay? And then let's say the complaint says, my partner emotionally distressed me and it was so horrible. And what he did was every single day he took a brown marker and he drew brown all over all of my paintings and it was the worst thing ever and I hated this and it was emotionally distressing me and fuck this guy and I hate him, blah, 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 okay? And let's say they filed that complaint. When you respond to the complaint, you can file a motion to dismiss and you can say, we're filing a motion to dismiss and because this person has failed to state a claim. Basically saying that the cause of action that they've listed is, they said that it was emotional distress, but if you read everything in the complaint, they don't even say that I said something to them, which is an element for emotional distress. I'm making up what the elements of that crime are, but whatever, right? So it'll be dismissed. Now, after you go through the pleading stage and you get through discovery and all of that, at the end of that stage, before you go to trial, you can have a motion for summary judgment. Motion for summary judgment is kind of like a motion to dismiss, except the judge is allowed to lightly consider evidence in that case. So maybe in the complaint, this lady said, when he had the brown mark and he was drawing all over my paintings, he said, fuck you, bitch. I hate you. I'm emotionally distressing you. And maybe he says, I wasn't even in town when that happened. Okay. Well, he couldn't file a motion to dismiss because whether or not you're in town, that's a fact to be debated. And judges aren't finders of fact. That's what a jury is for. But let's say in the discovery stage, let's say that you submit evidence and the husband shows like, look, I was literally in Iowa from May 12th to May 22nd. Here's like 15 restaurant receipts. Here's pictures of me with my family. And let's say that the plaintiff who filed the complaint doesn't respond with any evidence to that declaration. Then when they file for the motion to dismiss, the judge will look at this and go, okay, well, it seems like this is impossible. So for summary judgment, I'm just giving it to this guy because you haven't satisfied the elements of the claim, basically. Okay. So motion to dismiss is you fucked up real hard. Summary judgment is the evidence the judge is allowed to lightly consider probably means that there's not an actual complaint here right now. Okay.
Even if you have a clear defense, even if they don't have a good case, a lawsuit is still something that can be fruitful to either side.
Do you think this is going to end up settling, or is it now just too far down? How do you settle it without one side looking bad?
It's very rare that things go to jury trial. I think it's like 2% of all complaints filed actually go that far. So it's very, very, very rare, but...
The problem is when you're dealing with someone like him, that his livelihood depends on the way that people view him, on whether or not people reject him or not, whether or not people are going to tune in or not. Once we're at this point where me and you are discussing it publicly, and it's out in the media, then how do you really repair his reputation? We look at like Johnny Depp, how Johnny Depp had to spend millions of dollars to sue Amber Heard, and at the end of the day, the entire lawsuit was just for him to get back whatever, reputation he had, so it wouldn't affect his ability to make money in the future. So in my opinion, I think that the genie's out of the bottle, and resolving it at this point isn't going to do anything for his reputation and his career. But you never know.
Yeah, I'm sure. And look, there could be a lot more to this as this case ultimately progresses. Mauricio Padilla, thanks so much for taking the time. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And that's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you should get your podcasts. I'm Jesse Weber. I'll speak to you next time.
Wow. Ababa and Preach covered this apparently as well.
Okay. All right. So this is going viral. Shannon Sharpe getting canceled due to allegations that he raped. Basically, he forced himself in her from behind. Okay.
He raped her, allegedly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, he forced himself on her against her will. That's the allegation. It's important to give some context to this because this comes with a few key details. One, the lawyer who's involved in this is the same lawyer who's gone after a lot of high-profile people and basically tried to shake them down and has been proven to be a complete fraud in court.
Yep.
So that's a bad look because recently, even against Jay-Z, he tried to pull some stuff and the courts threw that shit down and basically said, you can't even practice here. You're so unethical. So you have to imagine how much of basically said, you can't even practice here.
Busby is not admitted to practice law in the federal court where the case was filed. I could be wrong on this. So generally you need to take the bar in states where you want to practice. I don't know how it works for federal. Like if you file a federal suit in a state, if you need to be barred in that state or how that works. But if you're not licensed to practice in a state, you can always have another attorney file it for you, and then you file I think it's a pro hac vice motion, and then that allows you to say, hey, listen, I'm from out of state, but can I come and practice there? I don't think you need to be barred in that state as long as you file that motion. I don't think so. I could be wrong on that. But he might have incorrectly filed the case or something. Is not admitted to practice law. It doesn't look like the same as he got disbarred or sanctioned in this district. That's not what that reads like to me, but I don't know. I'm going to Google it. I don't know.
He tried to pull some stuff and the courts threw that shit down and basically said, you can't even practice here. You're so unethical. So you have to imagine how much of a bad representation.
He didn't file the pro vice shit? Yeah, okay. Then he just tried to file in a district where he's not barred, and he should have had another lawyer file it first. This is why I have like fucking 3 lawyers on my fucking bullshit, is to have my team from California able to file or represent me in Florida.
You have to be, in terms of like, you're not even allowed to practice in certain areas because of how bad your rep is.
I don't know what that means or how that's like, it's not that you're not allowed to practice because of a bad rep. It would be like you got disbarred or something because you fucked up hard. And I think generally if you get disbarred in one area, I think other people will disbar. Like, I don't know if you get like disbarred in one state and other states are like chill. I think that would probably get fucked there would be my guess, but I don't know. But
he's pretty much real life Saul Goodman.
Saul Goodman?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
yeah. The girl in question, a lot of people have been going after the wrong girl and flaming her on Instagram. It's not her, but I'll show you the person in question because she does have an OnlyFans. She is very popular.
Jesus.
And, I don't believe that these accusers should be anonymous, especially when they're doing things for profit or, for their own sake.
Okay, this is something I feel very strongly about, as all of this now personally affects me too. I think that the concept of filing a case as a Jane Doe, especially in cases of sexual stuff, I think that that's a totally fine protected thing. It makes sense why you would want somebody to have that protection, especially if part of what they're alleging is like, this is humiliating or damaging my reputation or whatever. That makes sense why you would have these like protections that would allow somebody to file the case anonymously. What I think is ridiculous is when you file anonymously and then make it public. That's a massive bait, because if Shannon fucks up on his side and accidentally reveals like her name's in a filing somewhere, even I think you can get trouble even if it's in a filing because those are public facing, or if he says it, or if he gives information that allows people to find out who she is, then theoretically I think the plaintiff can try to sanction you or file a motion to compel something or damage you in some way or whatever, or add to like punitive or damages or whatever, because now you've like violated the protective order. That's bullshit. If you're already starting to release shit publicly and people are obviously tying you to I think that's ridiculous. You're abusing the court system at that point to file anonymously. Does filing anonymously mean there are 0 penalties for perjury or lying? No, you can still lie or perjure yourself. When you file as a Jane Doe, unless there's like other ways to do it that I'm not aware of, that just means that your name isn't filed publicly. The court knows who you are and the defendant knows who you are, but the public doesn't see your name. But usually when you see the, like if you go through a lot of Doe cases, it's very, even in like for revenge porn stuff, for instance, it's hard to find these people because they usually don't want to be found, obviously. There's a reason why they're filing under a protective order. There's a reason they're filing anonymous because they don't want all of this, stuff out there about them on the internet. So it's weird when people file under Doe's, but then they make it as public as possible. I feel like that's a gross misuse of that privilege, but...
And if you're going to accuse someone publicly, I think your name should be out there publicly. And thankfully, in the court filings, you can find her full name, so this is not hidden. I'm going to play
the court filings are her full name? That's very strange if that's true, considering she filed as a Doe, but...
Call, and then I'll play videos of her so you can see who the person is. So here's the call, or the edited clip that they released to incriminate Shannon.
Anything I say, you're just gonna like get mad at, and you're just gonna hang up on me, so I feel like...
I'm not going to hang up on you. Here's what it is.
What does that even mean?
Nothing, Gabby. You want to be a dick to me now, so...
I don't want to be... Don't manipulate me.
Manipulation.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm going to choke the out of you when I see you.
Imagine the Shannon bullshit. Nigga, I told you I was going to choke the shit out of you. You said it one more time.
But it's good. You learn. You don't touch my fucking...
No. I might get up in your space.
Yeah.
You done shove me into a fucking closet.
Yeah, of course I can.
Yeah. Bitch. No, that came out way too comfortable. After the years of a that I done oh my God, bro. Yeah, that's too much.
That's too much?
That's too much. You said it too fast. You said, of course I did.
This motherfucker clutching his pearl.
Oh my days. Who is we?
I don't know who is we, but
I don't know.
I am.
Because we used to be them niggas with the afro and the dreads.
Now he ain't got no more beard.
You know what people call us? They call us Abba and Abba. That's funny. Not gonna lie.
That's stupid.
All right. Okay. I feel like with every progressive year, we're just less and less hair. It used to be hair here, hair here. Now it's here.
Your hair used to be all over the place.
You know, some of us want to be employed. So,
By who, nigga? You're the CEO.
By me.
You're the CEO and the HR.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Yeah. I have to talk to HR to be like, I'm gonna fire myself. Nigga. This is unpresentable.
I'm gonna fire myself and I want to ask for a bonus.
Yo,
hey, what are you talking about?
Moving past that.
Thank you.
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Okay, you guys notice there's a cut there. There's a few cuts in this thing already, but just keep listening.
Even if there weren't cuts, just remember, when it's a one-sided recording, bro, fuck. People that just haven't been in relationships or haven't had tumultuous friendships just don't know. Bro, you can wind people up and make them sound insane. If you know you're recording and they don't know, and you've got the ability to put the recorder up, whoo, you can make people sound hella crazy. And I don't mean sound crazy as in you're like super editing and splicing clips together. I mean sound crazy as in like you're a worthless, small dick little fucking piece of shit. It's like, what the fuck's your problem? It's like, you know what the fuck my problem is. I'm gonna fuck your mom, and then I'm gonna fuck your dad, and I'm gonna fuck them both at the same time, and then we're gonna fuck you together because you're a piece of shit. Oh, fuck you, blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, okay, record on. Why are you upset with me all the time? You know why I'm upset with you. You're fucking crazy, bitch. What the fuck is wrong with you? I don't understand why you're calling me crazy all the time. I'm calling you crazy because you're a fucking lunatic. You're a fucking crazy bitch. And like, so people only hear that part. And it's like, okay, well, obviously the guy is insane. He's totally unhinged. She's like, well, hold on. I don't know what came first. I don't know what came before in this phone call. Why this dude is so fucking mad. He could be evil and it could be genuinely fucked up. But also, this person knows that they're recording. They know they're going to release it publicly because why the fuck else, would you be recording a conversation on the phone like this otherwise, unless you were going to fucking release it somewhere, right? So I think that that's just be aware of that. Just be aware of that.
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in the matter.
Yeah,
like get
weird.
The lawsuit, the way this clip is put together, like this could easily be just the way that people talk between each other.
I don't know about that. That would be a wild way to just randomly talk to a partner. But I do think it's not enough to fucking convict the dude off. Like you need way more info, right? But
they're within the confines of the kinks. They like to be a little. Yes, you like to be choked.
Like this doesn't sound like a kinky convo. He just sounds like kind of annoyed Or maybe not. It's hard to say. You need way more info on this.
No, Danny, you can see that happening. I'm not going to read into this conversation, but I will read into the fact that you released this highly edited clip to put out this. If this is really what it is, this kind of intimidation, then release the whole thing. Give me a good chunk of conversation. Why is it edited? One, for things that are cut out. And two, why is it such a short segment? Just as he's about to go on, you cut it right there. It might change the context. So this is one of the ones where the lawyer doesn't have a good reputation. Oh my God, the manipulation, reputation, majigajig. Now, the lawyer doesn't have a good reputation. The woman in question is doing this for strictly financial gain, has been recording calls and setting a lot of this up for a long time. And just looking at the timing of it also, it all feels like this is all orchestrated for a bad cause. Now, I'm not saying Shannon is innocent or guilty. I ain't in that man's private life. He might be doing some weird shit. I'm just saying the way this looks on the outset, it looks really bad on behalf of the accuser, in my opinion. Another thing to consider is the fact that Shannon was now just renegotiating his deal for his podcast, which is going to be worth of like upwards of 100 mil. So there's a lot of, I feel like the timing of it is very strategic, right? They knew this is going to be coming, so they waited for this because apparently this happened almost a year, 2 years ago, and they'd be sitting on this. And you can kind of know that it's a bit premeditated because the woman has recordings of just really random So this is something that she's put some forethought in regards to setting up for some of this.
So we just pulled up to the grocery store and I'm about to fuck shit up. Just kidding, guys. I would never do that. I'm gonna be completely normal. No, I'm not. Okay, enough with this bullshit. Let's fucking go. I forgot my keys. And yes, that's right. I only shop at Whole Foods. I don't want to look like I'm broke. What they say, fake it till you make it. I don't want to cook tonight, guys, so we're getting the hot bar. Who am I kidding? I literally never cook. Really the only selections. So your girl will be ordering Postmates. I just got completely harassed in the grocery store. So I've made it home safe. Basically, I had to leave the grocery store early. This guy was following me around the grocery store. He wouldn't leave me alone. We managed to get this $13 peanut butter and these chocolate balls. This is why women are scared to go out. Don't be that guy. Do not harass women. Simple.
Now, I'm going to do this in order.
Jesus.
Okay, so we're going to start off with Shannon's video because he knew that they were going to release this clip. If you don't know who Shannon Sharpe is, he's a podcaster, Hall of Famer, football player, former football player, but Hall of Famer, very, very well received. And he's a big social media personality.
Football player, baseball player, soccer player, don't care. Lakers in 5.
OKC, KFC, UFC. Lakers in 5. To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey, Tony, instead of
The sexism card is strong. I don't think the racism card can counter the sexism card.
releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation.
Manipulation.
Oh, manipulation.
Manipulation.
And now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys.
Damn.
All right. What's your thoughts?
My thoughts are these. If you want to be credible at getting 50 million out of someone, why, out of all the Tonys that are out there, you're gonna choose Tony Busby? And you're pretty popular. You got money. You got the money to have someone that actually is gonna have a little bit more reputation.
I don't get this.
Someone that's gonna be able to do the job. Someone that's that we're not gonna look at funny. Even if you're gonna tell me, even if you tell me that.
Well, wait, maybe, who is he criticizing? Wait, I'm so confused. Hold on.
You're gonna choose Tony Busby, and you're pretty popular. Some want to be credible.
The lawyer.
At getting 50.
Oh, I mean, if he specializes in these types of cases, then this is the lawyer you're going to want. Whether or not you seem credible or whatever, it doesn't matter. It matters how good you are at trying the case. It matters how good you are putting it together, I guess, and like what your track record is. I don't know what kind of settlements this guy has taken down from other people before, though, so who knows?
50 million out of someone.
Yeah.
Why, out of all the Tonys that are out there, you're going to choose Tony Busby? And you're pretty popular.
You got money.
You got money. You got the money to have someone that actually is gonna have a little bit more reputation. You know, someone that's gonna be able to do the job. Someone that we're not gonna look at funny. Even if you're gonna tell me, even if you tell me that, well, maybe she employed his services before we heard about the Jay-Z thing. Even after, you could drop it with one person and proceed with someone else, but it was too time consuming, and you wanted to be on time with.
His point is Busby is a total hack, but I don't know if we know that, right? Like, from what they're saying here, apparently this guy's lost some cases publicly, but it might be that privately, maybe he has gotten people to pay out pretty significantly, and he does have that reputation that he can talk about with potential clients. Maybe, I don't know. I have no idea.
The renegotiation. So before this lawsuit came about, of course, you wanna do a settlement, right? It's the set. You have to be in time for the settlement before he gets, so he could like hush it up and be like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna pay you, and then we can move on. It looks weird. On the other hand, even though it is completely legal, a 54-year-old getting involved with a 19-year-old, I'm not with it.
She's apparently, in the picture I saw, she would have been, in 2023, she would have been 20.
And still, it's weird to me, but not illegal. But I'm like, ooh, 1921, man. You know what I mean?
You know what? It's okay. Like, there's two conversations, right? Like, here you have this OnlyFans girl, very much like about her money, whatever it is, and she's not even half your age. She's closer to 1/3 your age than she is to half. Mm-hmm. I just think a lot of rich people, especially athletes and entertainers, rule in a really stupid way. And you wonder why so many of these rich guys prefer just getting escorts. It's because of stuff like this.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't control your dick, then just pay for the shit. Stop trying to do these weird fucking relationships with girls like 1/3 your age.
You don't think, I wonder if escorts ever sue people on shit like this.
Who have no vested interest in your well-being. Why? Because you're just there to fuck them and disappear. So of course they're gonna try, a lot of them gonna try to get their get back. Stay away from that shit. You have too much to lose. You're too easy of a target. And a lot of you got fucking weird proclivities where you say freaky shit to people. It's like you guys are just asking to be set up. So I don't know. I feel like I've seen this story so many times to just look at them and not think, you didn't even try to protect yourself a little bit. Not even a little bit. Not even keep like records of stuff. Like, I don't know. It's a bit tough for me seeing grown men who are old enough to have great grandkids still sitting here fucking with girls who didn't even finish college. It's just odd. Is it illegal? No, obviously not. Listen, this lady, I don't think it's credible. I think this is probably going to severely impact Shannon. Unfortunately, there's just no way around it because it's a very public thing. But yeah, guys, you especially if your net worth looks anything like his and you're this much of a public figure. Apparently, he met this girl at the gym and he was going after her and then pushed for it. And then
the real red flag where he really fucked up is. Now, this is just what she alleges in the complaint, though, so maybe there's something else is her refusing to sign the NDA. That should have been the red flag that he needed to stay away. All the age shit and everything actually doesn't matter because women that are crazy when they're 25, 90% of them are still crazy when they're 30, and 90% of those are still crazy when they're 35, and 85% of those are still crazy when they're 40. So, but the refusal to sign the NDA should have been the big red flag, I think.
That's how it ended up happening. And then in my head, I'm just thinking, I don't get it. I don't get why these guys put themselves out there like this. I don't get why they take these risks. I'm not saying you gotta date somebody who's rich as well or in the entertainment business, but good Lord, you out here going after 21-year-old OnlyFans models? Like, I don't know.
Go ahead.
All right, so there's a clip I want to play of Monique and Shannon talking.
I don't know if you said this, so I don't want to quote it because I could be wrong.
Okay.
But someone said Shannon Sharpe don't mess with black women.
Mm-hmm.
And
damn.
Before you go any further, can I say this?
Please.
My grandmother told me something when I was a little boy. She said, boy, never chase a lie.
Come on, baby. Come on.
What?
I think you definitely chasing a lie right now. You try to defend yourself, which is fair, but
well, he's not chasing a lie. He's dodging one.
He chasing that lie. He trying to go after her. He's suing her for defamation.
Never
defamation.
Never chase a lie. You talk about black.
I think it's meant to say, like, basically someone lies on you, don't go out there trying to prove them wrong. Like, don't spend that time.
Oh, that's what he meant. So, okay, yeah.
Why? And you never said that, right?
Wait, what?
I've never said.
Okay, so that's why I said
I got black kids.
I said that baby's black.
Yes.
They not confusing.
Yes.
We ain't trying to see if she Latin or Dominican. They black. They mama got black. Everybody that Shannon messed with was black.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Black. Okay?
Make sure you fade in the white OnlyFans girl while this whole conversation's happening. And you can leave me saying that too. Thank you.
Because it's Mo, it's different now. Than when you and I...
It's different, baby. I'm grateful I'm not 56 and trying.
Are you trying to say what you trying to say, Mo?
I'm looking right at you.
I know you looking at me.
I ain't backing down. You better take your old ass and get somebody to love you.
Damn, Mo.
Tell you what my baby need. He need him an old fat gal who can bake good cakes, make some smothered turkey wings, who gonna rub his feet at the...
Wait, what is this? Hold on.
Yeah, I think abuse is abuse.
Streamer goes viral for his opinion on men and women fighting. Watch till the end.
Well,
it is.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I think abuse is abuse.
Oh, okay.
Well,
it is.
Okay, let me pose a question to you.
Talking to Mike.
Let me pose a serious question to you. And we're all against abuse of nobody should be hitting nobody. Let's put it that way. Don't hit me, or I might hit you back. Just let's not put our hands on each other.
Right.
Let's have a talk.
That makes sense.
Okay. While we talking, I tell you to shut up.
Okay.
Do you think it's wise for you to keep talking?
Oh no. Jesus. Not good. That's probably not it. It's probably not it. That ain't it. I think that ain't it.
at nighttime, okay, and gonna have a sip of his cognac to make him feel better about himself when he come home at night. That's what Shannon needs. You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl.
No, we need a 21. OnlyFans model, that's what we need.
When they want you to go for the fourth round, you looking at her like, bitch, listen, I need you want some money to go to Starbucks?
Yeah,
because I can't go no further. But if you get your older girl, when you get to that fourth round, she's gonna say, hold on. Let me go get you some eggs and cheese. and some toast with apple.
Why is he giggling?
All I'm trying to say is, like, you know, listen, you're free to do it. Like I said, it's not
illegal.
It's not.
But
it is really stupid. It just is. There's just no way around it. So that's my thoughts on this whole story. I think this sounds like a big, you know.
Oh, there's nothing new in here. What the fuck? Did we learn anything? This is 2 days old.
Bunch of hogwash. But yeah.
We'll see. But it's crazy because the last time Tony Busby did something like that, there was no repercussions on the other side. And that's crazy to me. For you to mess up people's money like that, and you know, the old time, the Jay-Z thing that I'm talking about, the alleged accuser was say, yeah, you know, there's some holes in my story, and you know, it's not Korean or whatever. They and nothing. We're just gonna let it go. We're gonna let it fly. You don't get nothing, not a slap on it, nothing. Just walk out. You're good.
Well, I mean, they can try to countersue if you don't.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to pay more money to count. It's crazy.
That's America. Yeah. America.
Well, you're coming to LA tomorrow?
Oh, that's another one-sided recording. Damn, I bet all the recordings that she dropped are probably recorded on her side like this. Jesus.
Yes.
Oh my god, this is so dirty, dude.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Gabby.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Bro. Oh, this is so dirty. It's so dirty. Holy shit.
I might choke you in public. Big black guy choked small white woman.
Wait, sorry, explain. I'm a virgin and an autist. It's like me talking to Miles or Maya when we're doing like anything else. Like if let's say that I know that like publicly, it would be really bad if well, just with a choking thing, right? Like let's say I have a partner that, you know, abuses me or chokes me or some shit, but that's like a kink or a fetish we have or whatever. And I'm like recording, and I'm like, okay, start recording. I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel tomorrow at the steakhouse because I feel like you might hit me. And they're like, yeah, I'm gonna smack the shit out of you. I might even do it in public. You're like, yes. Like you're setting them up, right? Because remember, she's asking the questions, she's driving the conversation, she's recording from her end, right? So she's setting this up, right? This is literally what this is a setup. That's just wild. Damn.
Big black guy choked small white woman.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you do with the shit you did to me.
Okay, well...
Okay.
Hollywood. What you gonna do with this? Hollywood.
Jesus. Well, good luck.
Took care of the situation.
There are some.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Reputational statistics are showing that the U.S. actually has a trade surplus with Norway. Are you going to be looking into that and see which of the countries are actually in a trade surplus?
Yeah, well, with the United States, almost everybody has a surplus.
But not so many.
It's really an amazing phenomenon. No, there's a surplus of a couple of $2 billion I think you have with us. I congratulate you. That's very good. We got to get a little bit of that for ourselves, maybe. But they do have a surplus. Norway has a surplus.
Mr. President, in the current tariff...
We took care.
Wait, he's saying that they have a surplus with us. What do you mean? This is consistent with what he said before, no? He's actually retarded, he doesn't know what any of it means? Well, I know he's retarded, but he's technically being correct here, right? If we have a deficit with them, they have a surplus with us. That's what he's saying, right?
Sharpe, I'm going to stand with you, my brother.
Oh, no.
Shannon Sharpe, I'm going to stand with you, my brother, on one condition. I'm getting text messages from all over the African universe telling me that Shannon Sharpe was accused of the unspeakable.
Lang with a snow bunny.
I'm getting text messages telling me that Shannon Sharpe was accused of the unspeakable. I'm going to stand with Uncle Shay Shay on one condition. Uncle Shay Shay. No more snow bunnies after this scandal. If you cannot promise me that you will never seek the company of another snow bunny, I cannot stand with you. Uncle Shay Shay. Uncle Shay Shay. I'm standing with you, Unc. I think it's a scam. I'm standing with you, Unc. I think it's a scam. I'm standing with Uncle Shannon Sharpe on this one. I'm standing with Uncle Shannon Sharpe on this one, but Uncle Shay Shay, no more bunnies after this. Can somebody confirm if he's being accused by snow bunnies or Afro-Queens? Is Uncle Shannon being accused of snow bunnies or Afro-Queens? Who can confirm?
Does anybody know the race of Uncle Shay Shay's?
We know.
Are they black or are they white? Are they black? Is this a rice bunny situation? Is this a
Jesus
snow bunny
Christ.
situation?
Rice bunnies?
Is this a sand bunny situation? Is this a salsa bunny situation?
Jesus. Dude, the Nation of Islam dudes, those black guys, with the crazy like black racist groups, these guys are like professional racists. They've got slurs that you've never even dreamed of before, okay? I'm envious. Okay, there are white men that will never possess the level of deep racial hatred and variety of racial hatred that some of these like weird Yakubian or anti-Yakubian sects have. Jesus. And for that, we say God bless him.